I was watching a behind-the-scenes documentary on Star Wars. I mean, yeah, of course I was. And there was this table. It was just covered in carved alien figures. All these little sculptures just laid out. And George Lucas just walks around and says, "Oh, I'll take that one, and that one." Now, George Lucas is not designing every single alien. He picks out the ones he likes, and those are the ones that end up on screen. He's letting the sculptor do what sculptors do, and he's picking what fits his vision. Now, you might not be picking aliens for a universe, but AI can generate dozens of ideas about your industry, your report, that presentation you're about to give, and you get to pick the ones that actually work. That's not being replaced, that's being given an assistant. Let me show you what I mean. Now, this country has seen this before. The buggy whip makers didn't disappear. The ones who survived learned to cut leather for car seats and upholstery. Same craft, new interface. The ones who just kept making buggy whips, yeah, they disappeared. The switchboard operators didn't lose their skill of routing and connecting. They became network administrators, IT support, data routing. Same instinct, new tools. And then the darkroom photographers. They became digital retouchers, colorists, photo editors. They moved out of the chemicals and back behind the lens. The photographer who used to lease his own personal shot of the Grand Canyon now competes with the park ranger on Flickr, who was already there with a decent camera. Crowdsourcing changed the whole supply chain almost overnight. Now, I'm not going to pretend every one of these transitions was painless. Some people didn't make it. The ones who adapted did. That's not a guarantee, but it's a much better direction than just giving up. The question really isn't whether it's happening, it's what we're going to do about it. Now, the folks earlier, they didn't lose their craft. They changed their interface with it. Let's change the framing away from, will A take my job? And let's look at it as, what does my job look like after AI is doing the parts of it that I don't like doing anymore? You are no longer the engine. You are the captain. The engine, that's AI now, is faster and cheaper than any human at processing, drafting, transcribing, sorting, and summarizing. It's really good at all of that, and it's just getting better. However, the captain decides where to go, what's worth doing, when the output is good enough and when it isn't. Your taste, your judgment, your gut, your instincts, those are not replaceable. 20 years of knowing where the sliders go, when to push, when to pull back, when the room is reading it wrong. That's not something an AI model has. That is yours and yours alone. Now, a good captain also knows the instruments don't always get it right. A captain doesn't blindly trust the compass if they can see the rocks with their own eyes. The AI is the compass, and yeah, it's usually right, but you are the one looking out the window. Now, I go much deeper into this on the dangers of AI, but the short version is AI is a very confident first draft, but you are still the editor-in-chief. Now, in the healthcare industry, they call this operating at top of license. In other words, let doctors be doctors instead of doing data entry. The same principle should apply to everything else. If AI takes the transcription and the first pass research, that frees you up to do the high-level work you were actually trained for, the kind of work you actually like doing. Look, LLMs can do a lot more than adapt recipes for banana bread. If you saw my episode on LLMs, you know I use it for that. But we're not talking about hobbies, we're talking about your professional life. The 8 hours a day you spend doing the work that matters. If AI is going to take your job, let it take the parts you don't like doing anyway. Let it have the transcription. Let it handle the first draft. Those PowerPoint slides you don't like doing anyway. Let it do the work you were doing at midnight just to get through the week. That's not a loss. That is freedom. Now, most people only know what they've seen in the news. They think AI is ChatGPT answering questions. They don't realize the scope of what's actually available right now, today, for free, or at least very inexpensive. I mean, you got website designs in minutes. This isn't AI generating a pretty picture, but actual functional HTML and code that you can launch. Now, yeah, you still need to know where to put it, but the parts that used to take a developer 2 weeks now takes an afternoon. You got YouTube optimization, analyzing your channel, suggesting thumbnails, optimizing titles, finding trends in your niche before they blow up, and of course, spreadsheets and data analysis. Paste in a CSV and ask it questions. generate pivot tables, spot patterns that you missed. And now a lot of them can do PowerPoint decks from scratch. Full presentations with designs, speaker notes, visual hierarchy, not generic templates, but actual designed work. And then market research and competitive analysis. You name the industry, AI will pull public data and give you a landscape report. And then custom applications and AI agents. This is the frontier. You describe what you want and it builds it. It might not be perfect the first time, but you can tweak it. You can guide it. You are the captain now. And then image generation for any context. Logos, illustrations, mock-ups, product shots, storyboards. Pretty much any kind of visual medium you could want. Prompt engineering and creative direction. Learning to ask the right questions to get the output you want. And now here's a little trick. If you don't know how to ask, just describe what you want to your favorite LLM and ask it to help you build the prompt. The tool will help you to learn and use the tool. Now, most people are using AI for the 5% of what it can do. I don't want you to be worried about being replaced by the 5%. I want you to be excited about discovering the other 95% that it can do. Now, here's one idea I want to make sure you take away. If a task that used to take you 8 hours now takes 1 hour, that's not permission to coast. You just got 7 hours back. Don't waste it on a longer lunch or browsing the internet. Use that time to make the presentation that nobody has time to build, the analysis that's been on the wish list for 2 years, that conversation with your manager that keeps getting bumped. You have the time now. Put it towards something that is productive and that matters. And here's the framing I want you to think about. It should never look like, oh, this is what AI did. It should look like, this is what I am now able to do. Those two sentences describe the same work, only one of them keeps your job. I mean, you can be replaced by AI, or you can be the person in your organization who figured out how to use it. That person is not going anywhere. I mean, in my world, video production has changed quite a bit. The first AI video I ever saw was Will Smith eating spaghetti. I mean, this thing was crazy. You got limbs going everywhere, his mouth is goofy, spaghetti is defying physics. The whole thing looked like a fever dream. I showed it to my peers and everyone laughed. This thing's not a threat. And honestly, yeah, at the time, that was fair. But I kept thinking, this is Pong. This is literally Pong. It's in the Pong stage. And the question isn't whether Pong is impressive. The question is, what happens when this gets to the level of Red Dead Redemption? Because it always will, and it always does. And we're pretty much there. For me, I don't have to wait for a producer or a camera operator to bring me footage. Now I'm creating the footage myself. I use AI to help me do the research, write scripts, check facts, generate images, find footage. But everybody can do that nowadays. Yeah, there's more competition. Used to be that to make a video, you needed an avid media composer. It cost $100,000 and it took you a week to learn how to use it. Now anyone can make great-looking videos right from their phone. That's a huge democratization. And now, unfortunately, doing the work of an entire department doesn't mean you get paid for the entire department. The barrier for entry came down for everyone, including the competition. That's the honest trade-off. But now here's what didn't get democratized. Judgment, taste, a sense of humor, comparing Bitcoin to mom bucks, and knowing the difference between good and almost good. I am one person with a Mac Studio doing the work that used to require an entire team. The tools changed the game considerably, and most of all, they changed who gets to play. Now, I'm not going to tell you this isn't scary. Every one of these transitions was scary for the people living through it. The buggy whip maker didn't know if he was going to be okay. The darkroom tech didn't know Photoshop was coming. They just picked up the next thing and figured it out. But now here's what's different this time. You don't have to figure it out alone. There are hundreds of YouTube channels, articles, free resources built specifically around AI tools for your industry. Whatever you do for a living, someone has already mapped out where AI fits into it. So go find them. Watch a few videos. It won't take long before you're thinking less about what AI might take and more about what you can finally hand off. Because that's the real opportunity here. Not to become a different person, not to learn code or get a computer science degree. The opportunity is to look at your job, the actual list of things you do every week, and decide which parts you'd cut off if you could. The reports that feel like busy work, the drafts that eat up your afternoon, the research that takes 3 hours that could take 10 minutes. Those parts, let AI have those. What's left is the stuff you're actually good at. The judgment calls, the relationships, The 20 years of knowing when something is right and when it isn't. That's the job you wanted when you took it. And you finally get to do more of it. The people who figure that out early don't just survive. They look back 2 years and wonder why they were ever worried in the first place. The darkroom didn't get killed by digital cameras. It moved the photographer out of the chemicals and back behind the lens. That's where we're going. Remember, you don't have to be the strongest. You don't have to be the smartest. You just have to be willing to change. And as always, now you get it.